in the South Loop and Slide, where they've got the out-of-the-park brisket, ribs, sausage, turkey, all the things you want there with the sides, the bread, the breakfast tacos in the morning. Challenge you, go in there in the morning before you hit work. It's nice and quiet in there usually. Get you a big old Diet Dr. Pepper and a Rudy's breakfast taco with brisket. And then it's up to you. But make sure you get the brisket on it, and then you can go the cheese, the egg, whatever else. Fantastic stuff at Rudy's. Again, it's on the South Loop and Slide, and a proud sponsor of all of our coaches' shows. Head coach Tim Tadlock is with us, coming off of a 2 of 3 series win over Texas, third-ranked Longhorns. Red Raiders are now 30-11 and 10-8 in the Big 12. Coach, how you doing? I know for one thing, I'm pretty tired. That was a trip.
Been a busy morning, and tell you what, it's looking forward to a new week, and it's I think everybody's a little bit tired from the travel, I guess, and at the same time, it's Monday's kind of day we give the guys a chance to kind of recover, and hopefully everybody's doing that.
Seemed like it was an adrenaline pumping weekend, and you just didn't exactly know what was coming because of the weather and all those things. And so I that's why I'm kind of spent a little bit. It's just, we drove down there and we had to drive through the rain and that kind of deal. Then you get in the traffic, you know what I'm saying? And then you guys play some really exciting baseball. What'd you think?
You guys had it a lot rougher than we did. You're the one that drove down there Friday morning, and
yes,
for what was it, a 2:00 start? So you and Jamie.
No, we didn't know it was a 2:00.
Yeah, but it was. What I'm saying is, your day was a lot tougher on Friday, which probably made the noon start on Saturday tougher.
Yeah,
I really thought. I thought David and I thought the University of Texas did a great job with scheduling the games and looking at the weather, and between them and the Weather Channel people, looking at when the windows to play were. I think going down there, you're going, hey, might not play till Sunday. And we actually got a full game in on Friday and almost a full game on Saturday. And so they're to be commended for that. And it was an emotional weekend, though, as far as that goes. I mean, it's never easy when you have a halted game and you go to the hotel and you got to wake up the next day and finish it. And we're fortunate that Sublette did make it easy.
Yeah, he did. He came out there and closed down Texas on the resumption of the game yesterday at 1 o'clock. 1, 2, 3. Man, I mean, I expected Sublette to get the guy out, but I don't know if I necessarily expected him to stand there and watch him.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, Ardoin's he's a big leaguer's kid, and we knew when they put him in to pinch hit, on Saturday, you felt like, okay, they're sticking him in there because he can really, work the count and have an extended at bat and really make you throw the ball over the plate. And he's a kid that really, when you look at it, if you go back and look at his at-bats with men in scoring position and even with the bases loaded, he's had some really big hits for him this year. And I thought that was a really good move for him, even though I'm a big Cam Williams fan. And, I think that kid's a really good player and brings a lot to their team. And those are always tough decisions. And, again, to go back to Sublette and, Dylan Carter catching the ball, I think Antico hit, to end the game. He made that catch look as easy as Sublette, made pitching look.
Good point.
And, and Dylan did that the whole weekend. I made a comment a little bit ago to a friend of mine that, we've all seen an elite center field be played over a season. The last guy I saw play center field like that at Dish Falk, now granted, the outfield was bigger. They moved the fences in. But what my point is, the last guy you saw play center like that, his name's Drew Stubbs from Atlanta, Texas. And he's the guy that over the last 20 years we all still talk about with Danks and left and whoever the other guy was. And you're going, hey, they just pretty much got to play on the lines.
Yeah.
And anything hit out there was caught. And Dylan really it's really fun to watch him play this weekend.
He had some big-time diving catches in that first game that you won 6-3 over Texas. All the runs were scored to the fifth. None scored 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And that ended up being a Sublette win. But you had the Carter diving catch coming in. You had the Morrell diving catch coming in. Then at the end of the game, you have the Carter catch on the second game. Which is the toughest catch out of those guys? Do you have any recollection of when you were, man, that was the toughest one?
Did you have the one Easton caught in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Saved 2 runs.
Yeah, I think they were all tough catches. I mean, if you say the toughest one, Max Marzak made it on Wednesday. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's really what starts it off. When guys go out and play great defense, it kind of gives you nowhere to go. I mean, if there's a guy sitting over there that can do it, you kind of have to go do it. And thought Max's catch, even though probably the game wasn't, you know, by any means in a position where it was going to go either way, but he went and made the play. And again, so I don't know if there was a toughest one. The ball Zubia hit, maybe. You know, I thought it was a really cool moment for college baseball when Zubia hit it. And you see it happen in the big leagues. You know, those guys have so much respect for each other and how much preparation goes into playing at a high level. And Zubia went around there. Dylan went and caught the ball in left center, and he tipped his cap to him.
Yeah.
And that's a kid that, you know, really has his feet on the ground and understands, you know, where he is right now, and there's not much he can do about it. I mean, guy went and made a play.
You talked about how your guys were ready for the challenge of Ty Madden, and you stepped up there and hit him really like nobody has hit him. Madden gets just his second loss of the year. He's now 6-2. How much was a key for Braxton Fulford to step up there and lead off the second with that kind of shot?
Yeah, Braxton's had some good swings through the year, and it never hurts to go ahead early in the game from the defensive standpoint and pitching, and also offensively kind of get you on the board. And, you know, Braxton's he's really evolved. And I think our guys understand we're all still evolving. We've got 9 guys or 12 or 14 guys offensively, and obviously, you know, the pitching staff. I mean, it's all going to evolve as we go. And I think the guys did a good job of understanding that through the weekend and competing with, like you said, with Madden and Stevens and all those guys. I mean, the guy that really gave us fits was the guy yesterday, Hansen, which was fun to watch him pitch. I mean, think about this, we're in year 3 of Madden and Hansen's career, and Kubicek for that matter. You're in year 3 of them, and we didn't see him the last time we went down there. I think we might have seen Madden out of the bullpen.
You did.
And I think he had to come out. Not because we hit him. I think he came out because of soreness or something
Correct.
like that. But Hanson we didn't see that year. They didn't come to Lubbock last year because of COVID. And so we've been down there twice. And really it's the first time we've seen them, full-fledged seen them. And so that's kind of cool from that standpoint. It's not cool they hadn't been to Lubbock, though. I mean, we need to get them out here.
Cody Masters gets a triple down the right field line in that game, knocking in Braxton Fulford. Then Cody scores on a pass ball. Well, I thought that was a wild pitch, but it says pass ball. Then Baker doubles. Then Cody diving back into first, kind of gets stuck. What happened to Cody there?
Yeah, we had ran in that count earlier, possibly in the game, and I think they thought Cody might possibly be going, and they picked 4 or 5 times, and he's got a shoulder that kind of goes in and out, and it just went out. And it went right back in, which doesn't mean, obviously there's a reason he didn't play the rest of the weekend. And I hadn't got with Brian today. Yesterday we talked and just trying to see where he'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, and see if he can go, because, I mean, do you get to a point where you just throw your hands up in the air? Say, what do we got to do here, Lord? Baseball gods, somebody help us out with all these injuries. Do you get to a point with that?
Man, believe it or not, if you don't enjoy every minute of it, you're not going. It's going to eat you alive. And so we've got a team, and a team picks each other up, and I think our guys have embraced that. And you're going to have injuries. I mean, going into the year, we talked about you might even have the whole COVID deal with, contact tracing and all that stuff, and you're going to have adversity. And anytime you go into a season that's possibly could be 70 games long, you're going to have things happen along the way. And That's where really it's important that each guy keeps evolving each day, and they keep trying to get a little bit better each day. And from a managing standpoint, again, I think we're probably all guilty of thinking we can win with whoever we have out there.
Doesn't matter.
Within our team. And I took a team one year we went to Houston, went to San Jac to play a game for the Region 5 tournament. And we had our leadoff hitter step in a hole and left. And somebody else slid into base and hurt a shoulder.
God.
And so we lost 3 guys in the top of our lineup the week before the Region 5 tournament. And we had 2 pitchers, of course, that were good high school hitters. And they ended up playing the Region 5 tournament.
Plugged them in there.
And, of course, you always, like in that week, you're like, hey, this will be fun. Let's get them ready to go. And they hadn't been swinging the bat. And so, again, you got to embrace every day and do everything you can for your guys to, have success.
Your guys did embrace it and won another series with Texas. That's 4 of the last 5 series in Austin that the Red Raiders have won. We've got a lot more to talk about with head coach Tim Tadlock here in his program, and we'll do that when we come back. This is Red Raider Baseball presented by Rudy's on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
And we're back with head coach Tim Tadlock talking all things Texas Tech baseball. The Red Raiders are ranked 8th in the D1Baseball.com poll and looking for more and more W's. We'll get to the Oklahoma Sooners very soon. We got more to talk about with this last weekend. I want to remind you about Rudy's. You can go buy the sauce at Rudy's. This is the regular barbecue sauce that's got a kick. The sissy sauce is back there. They're both great. It just kind of depends on what mood you're in. Coach Tadlock, are you a sissy sauce or regular sauce type fella?
Definitely regular.
This one?
Yeah, that's good stuff. We've had a few bottles of that in the refrigerator.
Absolutely. You think about that, you take the Rudy's home, and then you can just add as much as you like. Of course, they'll give you those to-go little cups as well. Really cool. At Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, and that's South Loop. Really easy to get to right there by the mall. All right, Coach, you win. Now we have the return. You get the start from Micah Dallas. I feel like we need to talk about Micah because, boy, it looks like from our standpoint he's really hitting his stride. It seems like he's gotten more swing and miss. And, I mean, right, you say, oh, great observation, Haxton, right, because he's got so many strikeouts and he's not walking anybody. But it just looks like he's got that swing and miss going more than he had earlier this year. What do you think about Micah?
Stuff's been really good. He's commanded the fastball on both sides of the plate. And he's even elevated some at times, and which makes the slider and changeup better. And he's done an outstanding job. It's been really fun. And again, I think he's still evolving as a starting pitcher, and I think he knows that. And if you could go back to the 8th inning and go, hey, Micah, let's go earn these outs in the 8th, and kind of put that inning in perspective, because that's somewhere where he really hasn't been. And so he's going to keep evolving and learn to earn those outs and to stay out there late in the game. Again, it's probably the coolest thing to me would be is he threw the ball really well against Baylor. And I would say just the maturity it takes to prepare the right way after throwing really good one week and going into the next week, something that all kids don't have at this level, and that's part of the, the growing up process, and it looks like it's happening.
When Levi Wells is standing there in relief in the rain, bases loaded, a run or two has already scored. I think 2 had already scored there when the rain started falling. What is going through your mind?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I thought Levi threw the ball really well to the first two hitters. If you're watching the execution of pitches and you go back and you watch it, to me, in the moment, um, he was throwing the ball down in the zone to the mitt, pitches that could go either way. They got called balls, and they were balls, I'm sure. I haven't gone back and looked at it. But if you're missing down, or if you're going in and you're missing in, or you're going away and you're missing away, that means you're executing pitches. And to me, he was committed to doing that, and that's why we stayed with him with the next hitter. And I'm not saying he executed the pitch to Hodo full count, but he's got good enough stuff. It gives him margin for error in a full count against an amateur hitter.
Do you feel like you have to stay longer with your starters than you want to, maybe because of the bullpen?
No, I absolutely don't. I mean, I think we could have gone to the bullpen in the eighth of the game Micah threw. Could have picked any guy with a clean inning. We just felt like Micah was in a good spot the way he was throwing the ball. And he actually got ahead of some guys, got Faultine out to lead the inning. Absolutely not. I mean, and I've already told another guy this right before I walked in here. If we're going to be guilty of one thing, it's going to be trusting our guys to go do what we brought them here to do. If you look at the history of good arms in baseball, not very many of them just roll out and pitch good every day. I mean, they're going to have bad days. And it's our job to try to get those guys in the right spot, and we're going to keep continuing to trust them and do their thing. And so, no, absolutely don't. But at the same time, do I think it gives you more margin for error if you score more runs at the start of the game? Yes. Does it give you more margin for error if you have good starting pitching and you play good defense? We saw that yesterday. I mean, we had good starting pitching and we didn't play good defense. If you wanted to pinpoint something early, like you go, okay, hey, at the same time you go, sunfly ball, this probably is a big league pop-up. What you want to do is fundamentally be good. You're not always going to catch it, but you want to get your glove on the sun, get your eyes around the glove, and change your eye level and all those things. And what people don't realize as far as that goes, Easton Merle's a kid that played shortstop, and he's learning to play right field.
And making dive and catch as well.
He's played a great right field, and
so
we don't get the sun in right field here.
Nope.
And Austin and Waco, you do get the sun in the afternoon.
Stillwater.
And so there's places where you do, and things happen for a reason. And to me, that's something we'd much rather happen now than later. And so as far as the bullpen question goes, absolutely not. It's obviously better, clean inning, earlier in the innings, better than, the more traffic you have, sometimes the harder it can be.
How did you think Mason handled that unfortunate play that, again, looked brutally tough?
About like most amateur pitchers would. He probably held on to it for a hitter and threw 4 pitches in a row to the backstop, and we can put that on me. I mean, literally, you
How do you put that on you?
Because you can go to the mound as soon as it happens. If you're playing, you go to the mound as soon as it happens. Like if you're – and really, I probably could have sent Braxton out and said, hey, Braxton, go reset him. And we didn't do that, and that's on us as far as that goes. And we did it a hitter later, and so we were a hitter late.
Okay, interesting. Overall, how'd you think Mason did?
I thought he threw the ball extremely well. From a standpoint of just commanding the fastball. And, it would have been really fun to watch, if things do go clean. At the same time, again, things happen for reasons, and he'll learn and grow from it.
What's the biggest challenge of a head coach when you get a massive win like that, when there's so much uncertainty arriving to the ballpark, okay, and you cash it in, man? You did what you need to do. And and we all know, that in 1 hour, you're going to be out there putting it on the line again.
Yeah, I guess.
Because we're all human, man, and we all, I know up there a mile away from you in the booth, our adrenaline came down. We felt better, There's 2, man. Hey, no matter what happens in this third, that could be human nature. I know it shouldn't be that way for baseball, but what's the biggest challenge? I know I rambled there.
Yeah, I think Hacks, if we had the answer to that, we could put it in that bottle and sell it and make a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
So I don't know if you have the answer to that each day, but I would tell you, I think our guys had good intent. I think once we won game 2, we were fully engaged on winning game 3. And, I think some guys played really well in game 3. And, that's just baseball's an interesting game. That's why it's the greatest game out there. It's not as simple as just going out and, hey, we're better than you, we're going to win by physicality. It's a game that, you have to execute to win.
It's got so many layers.
Yeah, and it's definitely just something that, things like that, what happened in game 3 happens, and you get in position to sweep a series or to win a game. Yeah, absolutely, you want to win it. And at the same time, those lessons you hope down the road help you later down the road. Because right now you can win the last game of a series and nobody's going to remember. You win the last game of the year, people are going to remember.
How'd you think Webster did at the end?
Yeah, I thought he had good presence. Thought he threw the ball good. Thought he had good stuff, and I thought he threw the ball just fine.
Yeah, it was fun to watch him.
Yeah.
I thought he, did a good job of hitting the strike zone, not laying down. Gave up that leadoff double. You're kind of teetering on maybe a run rule. Your guys fought through that. Didn't have to mess with that, and you win the series. So hey, I'm driving home again. You got 6-7 hours, whatever, to talk about it. You break every angle of it down that you can, and I'm thinking, I just took 2 or 3 against the third-ranked team in the country, and didn't probably play your best baseball. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. You bet. But I would say Texas didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so on both sides of it, both teams can definitely grow from it and, could be playing better or worse in a month. And what you want to try to do is get your guys, getting a little bit better each day. And we were better Friday. We didn't have as many breakdowns as far as, having good at-bats through the lineup. Didn't have as many on Saturday. On Sunday, would say we gave them some easy innings on Sunday and need some guys to, do a little better there, which is going to happen. When you let guys go play, they're going to be aggressive. And the one thing we're going to do is we're going to let them go play. And we're going to throw a lot of BP and hit a lot of ground balls and work in the cage. And when the game starts, we're going to try to stay out of the way as much as we can. And, again, there's times you can step in and do things, like a take sign if you want.
Or a green light sign?
Or a green light. I thought about green light Nate in the 9th of the second game. And if he hits it out of the ballpark, it's a great move. If he hits a pop-up, you're going, man, that was dumb.
Yeah.
He could have got on base. He was leading off the inning. And we tend to stay on the side of aggressive.
All right, we're going to come back more with head coach Tim Tadlock on his radio show presented by Rudy's. Stay with us. We've got a lot to talk about on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
Back on Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock, presented by Rudy's. And I was talking about it earlier, and for our audience online and on television, I've got the Rudy's Cup. You can see them in the background. This is the way to a good morning. For me, again, it's ice and Diet Dr. Pepper and a breakfast taco. Coach is laughing at me because I know he's a big coffee guy. Coach, you go through cycles in your life, man. Like, I was a coffee guy for a long time. I'd rather have just the Diet Dr. Pepper now. I don't know what it is.
Just need the caffeine, baby.
Yeah.
However you can get it.
Caffeine kick somehow.
There you go.
I notice Austin Becker is around quite a bit, and I got to interview him as he's doing his journey to recovery from Tommy John. Why take him? You got a little. Does he
There was
Calming?
real simple. There was a time about literally as recently as 2 weeks ago where he's on his throwing program and he was still gearing towards maybe pitching towards the Big 12 tournament.
Okay.
And so you want him to be with Matt and be able to do his throwing program, be with the team, and obviously if he could bounce back and be ready, be a guy that could really help you and step in and possibly help you. And so that was the number one reason. The number two reason, he's just a great teammate. And the combination of those two leads you to, yeah, let's take him. Where the rest of the guys that are hurt, like the guys that have been injured, they're not available to come back this year.
They're not on that part of their journey.
Yeah.
That'd be Brostowski and Dobbins.
Yeah.
And
Birdsell.
can you give us an update on Birdsell, how he's doing?
He seems to be doing fine. I don't have an update on the shoulder as far as that goes. You'd have to ask.
Yeah,
have to ask Brian.
You know, I see these guys that are out. They seem to be in good spirits, but they're also like, man, you know. I go, how you feeling? It's like, I'm feeling good because I'm not doing anything. You know, that kind of deal,
Yeah.
because they're put on the shelf. But they're like, my body feels great, you know.
Yeah.
And you look at a Dylan Noisy and you're like, man, he looks great, you know. Just can't, you know, there's certain things you can do, certain things you can't do. And, of course, you've been through that. You're an expert at it. Again, I'm sorry.
How about that?
Well, you're an expert in dealing with it. I mean, you go down there again, you win 2 or 3 against third-ranked Texas. I'm sorry, you're doing something right with all the things that you've been through with the injury bug, and even not with injury bug. Anyway, by the way, I'm 5-1 with you down there now. I didn't go in 19.
As in games played,
Yeah,
you mean?
games played. I'm
Pretty good.
I'm 5-1.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Again, the alumni crew. In case folks weren't listening to our pregame show a couple of days ago, when you see Shetter and Garcia and Warren and Bull and all those guys, I mean, they're having a good time, but they're chanting Raider power. And I got to tell you, too, also on our Facebook feed, we heard from Michael Beater giving us an update on Clayton. Dylan Dushek wrote in. He was watching. It's just a big family.
That's a good bunch of guys. I tell you what, they definitely a big part of everything we've done, and really laid the foundation for this thing, you know, moving forward. And we love every one of those guys, and obviously we'll be there for them as long as we're breathing. And we appreciate them being there for us. And really is a cool group of guys. And I think they even let Noisy join them this weekend and gave him a hard time. I heard he didn't have a voice on Sunday. He was yelling so much.
There's your teammates. Again, couldn't
Yep.
be in the dugout
Yep.
because of rules,
Yep.
but still putting in as much as he can. I think there's a documentary coming out, Coach, and it's called Uneven Playing Field, and it's talking about 11.7 for college baseball. And I think this thing's going to dive into, I mean, they were interviewing the coach from Alabama, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on his name. But he was talking about, hey, we don't do anything. We don't like get donor money or anything to go over 11.7. There are places that can provide financial aid different ways. But as far as just that statement in baseball on an uneven playing field with 11.7, what comes to your mind there in your game?
Oh, I think it's in all games, quite honestly. I think there's what comes to my mind is football. I mean, I've been saying since 2008. You got the Texas High School Football Coach Association. You know, if you could get those guys to go to bat for kids in the state of Texas with a 3.0, for instance, to get a books tuition fee waiver, to go to any school in the state that's a state school, then you're on an even playing field with Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and keep going on and on. And then obviously part of that's where my mind goes. We all think back of did they call them black shirts at Nebraska in the Osborne
Yes, sir.
days?
Yes, sir.
That's how a lot of those kids were going to Nebraska. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. But those states I mentioned, Louisiana, if you're a good high school student and you're a good athlete, those states allow you to go to those state universities with free tuition. free books, tuition, fees. And so where my mind goes is offensive line, defensive line, those guys, it takes time for those guys to grow into men. You can't walk a freshman in there. There's just not many Myles Garrett's walking around on the streets.
No, sir.
And so, you're thinking about 3 years to get a guy ready to play. And so that's the first place my mind goes, because football is the sport that can change it for the state of Texas. It's not baseball. Like, we can't go to the Texas high school baseball coach station and say, hey, we need to do this for baseball so we're on an even playing field with these other states. It has to happen in football first. And so that's a conversation I've been having for 15 years, easily.
Will anybody listen?
And I've talked to Johnny Carter about it, who is on the team here, whose dad's pretty high up in politics. As far as that goes, we've talked about it and trying to get things pushed through and talked about how to do it. When I was in graduate school, I had a teacher that said, in education it takes 27 years for an idea to be actually put in place. And so we're on 15 for my idea as far as that goes. And so you talk about baseball, as far as baseball's much more involved when you add in private schools. To me, a bunch of the SEC talk is talking about Vanderbilt having more money than everybody else. We don't get in that discussion here. I mean, money's not going to stop us from doing what we need to do. People will go where they can be developed and where it's been proven they can be developed and get better. Baseball is not a sport where they will not do that. Most parents will not let, for instance, room and board stand in the way of playing for somebody that can help their son and give them structure and discipline. That's what I believe, okay? Now, the argument you're hearing about, I think, is more from a standpoint of like bringing other people into the game.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and so, and believe me, Michigan has what you're talking about, Vanderbilt. What you're talking about is they do have scholarships for different races and things of that nature to get people to campus, and they do have the ability to give them full scholarships, for instance, which, I mean, is a big deal in baseball. I mean, the hardest thing in baseball when it comes to what we compete against is millions of dollars every summer. It's not other schools. We get people to come play at Texas Tech because they want to play. They want to win. They want to develop. They want to play where they can be developed. We can get them to come here against other schools. We got a whole roster of them, okay? But what's really hard to compete with is trying to get a kid like Kumar Rocker to come to school when he goes in the first round. That guy only goes to school if he's not paying for school. It's very hard to turn down $2.5–3 million if you're saying, hey, by the way, it's going to cost you $20,000 a year to go to school. So that's where our dilemma is. Our deal is totally different from football and basketball. But I think it all starts with football in the state of Texas.
That's fascinating. Appreciate all that information. That's great. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Oklahoma. We're going to get to Amarillo tomorrow. I'll tell you a quick funny story, and then we'll talk a little bit about Illinois, Chicago, and then let you go. This is Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
We're back with the head coach Tim Tadlock here, again virtually, but sponsored by Rudy's South Loop and Slide. I've given you everything you really need to know, but it's delicious. Just go through the drive-through, take the family in there. The dining room is open, the picnic tables are open, and ready for you to chow down at Rudy's Barbecue, South Loop, and Slide. Again, Coach Tim Tadlock is with us for one more segment. Finally get to play the Oklahoma Sooners. Supposed to 2 weeks ago, I think, and it was going to be 35 degrees. Better weather in the forecast, and OU coming off a 2-3 against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we got to watch a little bit of that one on the way home on the computer, and thank goodness Joseph Hughes has the Wi-Fi hotspot.
I was going to say, man, how'd you pull that?
Man, and believe it or not, I had the username and password. I guess I've had my laptop long enough that it was all saved in there. They saw when it came up TV provider.
Uh-huh.
Matt was sitting behind me.
Oh, that never works for me.
He's like, TV provider. He thought we were done, and we clicked on it, watched it. It was a good ball game, and it'll be a lot of fun to go up there to Amarillo. Amarillo's a great baseball community. I mean, I think we've already talked about the getting to see the stadium and all that stuff, and I know the guys are looking forward to it.
The Sod Poodles, home of the Sod Poodles up there in Amarillo. Hodgetown is where we'll be about this time tomorrow as the Red Raiders gear up for the Oklahoma Sooners. I think kind of the scouting report on OU overall is they can flat out hit, right? You got Hardman, who's led the league in batting average, been fighting with Drew Baker back and forth. Tell me about him. Good player.
Yeah, Hardman's a kid out of California that actually a good friend of Skip and mine put him on him. A guy named Billy Smith works with the Rockies, and I remember when Skip committed him, Billy was like, hey, this kid can really hit. And obviously if you're way up the brass and with the Rockies, you probably know. And he's really evolved into a really good hitter. And, it doesn't hurt anything to have Jimmy Crooks hitting probably right in front of him. And, Zaragoza's still in there. McKinnon, Munoz, I think that's how you say it, the kid from Dallas.
Yeah.
And they got a tough bunch. I tell you, it'll be a lot of fun playing them. It'll be fun seeing them. Obviously, it's not a conference game, and I think it's an opportunity for both of us to throw some guys out there and let them pitch. And and obviously, a midweek game's better than no midweek game.
Yeah, and this is the last one on the schedule, and so any chance for more to be added, or are we at our games? Our games are the ones that are on the schedule.
I actually thought about that here in the last week or so. I think we're in a good spot. I don't know if there's a Tuesday to do it on, quite honestly. And so just because of the short week before we do go to Oklahoma, and maybe even the short week before Kansas because of the Big 12 tournament. So I don't know. You think about it, but I don't think it'll happen.
Do we know who's going to be the starting pitcher tomorrow night in Amarillo?
We've talked about Hampton.
Okay.
How
about Hayde Key? I think he was on the trip.
He was.
That's hard to keep track of. Is he a guy possibly we could see tomorrow?
Yeah,
too?
Absolutely. Hayde's a guy that generally you know what you're getting with Hayde. Usually you're going to get strikes. You're going to get a good changeup, good breaking ball, and he's a kid again. All these guys are kind of in a different spot individually, and he's a guy that's trying to figure out how to go about it and how to get people out at this level for maybe more than one time through the order. And he's a guy really that threw a lot of pitches before he came here, pitched last summer, and he's always been a guy his teams have been able to go to, and I would expect we could do the same.
Then you get the Flames here. I got to pull up the schedule here while I got you because, again, we're looking forward to tomorrow. Is that at 6 o'clock? I've been saying 7. Is it 6 tomorrow?
It did get moved to 6.
I'm sorry.
Kind of allow both teams to get back.
Okay, I
earlier.
like that. I like that a lot. 6 o'clock tomorrow with the Oklahoma Sooners. Then you've got Illinois, Chicago. Update your calendars here with Friday, 2 o'clock, noon on Saturday, 4 on Saturday, 11:30 on Sunday. So a lot of afternoon baseball coming up against UIC. How'd you get that one on the schedule?
Yeah, we've got our administration to thank for that. I mean, really, we had to get it approved to play during finals. That's always a week where we're kind of sitting idle. And,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I think finals week starts on, I think Dead Day's Wednesday, and finals probably start on Thursday. And we're very appreciative of them giving us the opportunity to play during finals, and just with how hard the schedule was to put together this year with
Really
COVID,
tough.
we just felt like we needed to play this weekend, and Kirby and Amy really helped us make that happen, and we appreciate everybody that did that.
Well, you got Tulo at Texas, and you got Holiday at Oklahoma State. Do you feel any pressure to hire a big league former All-Star on your staff? Because all of a sudden these guys are just invading campuses.
Man, I think it's really cool those guys are in college baseball. And I think Matt has a really good time helping his brother up there. That's got to be really cool. It's something they've done their whole life. You think about it, Matt went away and played pro ball and now gets to hang out in Stillwater with his brother. And as far as Tulo goes, I mean, I think he's done a great job down in Austin, and I think it's great for the college game. Those guys are coming back in. Do we feel like we need to do that? No, I don't.
It was tongue-in-cheek.
You know, it's at the same time, it's you're always trying to evolve and get better. If it's something we think we need to do, we'll do it.
All right, Coach, man, we look forward to tomorrow. My funny story was, as we leave you, was I'm sure you thought of this as well. We got north of Post, and it hit midnight, and I said, hey, Jamie, we got to be in Amarillo tomorrow. And we were still, 30 minutes or whatever from even seeing Lubbock. It's like, hey, Jamie, we got to be in Amarillo tomorrow. So, but by that time, by tomorrow, we'll be ready to rock. Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Appreciate it, Hax.
All right, that's Tim Tadlock, and we love having him on here on his show. And we'll have more. We'll come back and wrap things up here. Again, this is Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Texas Tech, innovation is at our core. Grit and determination drive our ambition. Art and culture spur our creativity. We're a community that makes Texas and the world a better place. We're a university where our accomplishments are many, our achievements are global, and our victories are glorious. Texas Tech University. From here, it's possible.
Back for one more here on Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock. Boy, it was a lot of fun talking to Coach about another series win against Texas. That's a lot of fun to do, go down there or really anywhere to beat the Longhorns. The final game didn't go our way, but the Red Raiders take 2 of 3, winning the first 2. Up next, again, it'll be tomorrow in Hodgetown. Can't wait to go to the minor league ballpark in Amarillo and show the red and black up there a little further north, up there in the Panhandle, where the Red Raiders and Sooners will play the Red Dirt Rivalry. That'll be at 6 o'clock, and we look forward to bringing you all that action. Myself and Jamie Lent will be on the air tomorrow at 5:30. Don't forget this weekend, it's the Flames of Illinois-Chicago. 4 games. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. And then we'll get back into conference action with the Oklahoma Sooners. May is going fast. June will be here in a hurry, and that means regional time. And we can't wait for that. Thanks to Rudy's, as always, our terrific sponsor of Red Raider Baseball with head coach Tim Tadlock. Big thank you to Michael Tackett, our producer-engineer back in Jefferson City, Missouri. And also thanks to everybody out there for listening. Don't forget to get your ribs. Go get those ribs and get the brisket and the sausage and all the trimmings there at Rudy's South Loop and Slide. Until next Monday, God bless, guns up, and good night from the Hub City.